Hello, Internet. So, today, something a little bit different. um, this is the anniversary of my father's passing 1 year ago. His, his death was traumatic, and it's been a difficult year for me. I had planned to create this channel last year, and the circumstances of his death did not allow me to do that due to my mental fragility over his death. He he died in my home, and I tried to save him and was unable to save him. And it's something that I would never wish on anyone to have to go through. So it's an emotional day. You know, it was actually last night was that, and a year ago last night was the Oscars when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. So there is a cultural marker every year. You know, people always are going to talk about that event with Will Smith going crazy, and it'll always remind me of my dad. And my dad wasn't the best father, but I loved him regardless. I mean, he was an interesting person. He he loved cars and hunting, and he was a sportsman. And I remember going fishing one time when I was very young, and I didn't push the button on the rod, and I threw the rod, and it dragged me into the pond that we were at. And he dragged me out of the pond, and from that point on, it was always asked if I wanted to go zooming. And zooming is what they said I did when I threw myself into the pond. He was a big baseball fan. He liked football. We would always talk sports. If I look at our previous text messages, I mean, they're basically at the end of the football season. And he was talking to me all about the playoffs the year that Matt Stafford won the Super Bowl with the Rams. And he liked Stafford. And yeah, so it's kind of a tough day. Probably not going to get a lot of work done today. Playing poker tonight. Will not have a show tonight. I don't want to overshare, and I don't, you know, this is a public forum and this is a private matter, but it's been a tough year. I'm in a lawsuit, and that is awful. And so sometimes I get distracted from what I need to do and get, you know, sidetracked and sort of in my head about the past. And I hope to get better at not allowing it to affect me, but I think it's also okay to give myself some space to grieve, and whatever that is and however that works is okay. And so today I'm grieving, and it's just sort of a difficult day to remember everything that has happened. And one benefit of this situation is my family is closer than we've been in years. My mother and my brother were all very much tighter now and communicating much better. So I think he would be happy about that. And I need to be careful what I say, because I'll just start losing it, and I don't want to do that today. So I'll just show you a little photo. This is my dad. And this is one of the best photos that I've seen of him. And it sort of captures the best of him. And, you know, I love you, Dad.